Hello, in this one a Fissure critical and maximize builds, let's talk about what makes this build good early game and end game. Skillboard, Zodiac, Charms, Relics and more is coming up next. But before that, Fissure got buffed in the mid-season update. It was good before, right now it's even better. There was a buff to area of effect scaling and tooltip damage. At the same time, you really want to have the unique gloves called Aftershock, cause those gonna increase your damage by twice or even more. Right now, straight into the build. Early skill bot for critical fissure. On fissure, we want to have additional physical damage, extract earth energy, confidence, find weakness, fighting spirit, and warrior shadow. Fighting spirit is a blue link rune, but this is the best one to pick up early as it gives us strike damage amplification and at the same time it gives us some physical damage dampening and elemental damage dampening. Warrior Shadow is the best link rune damage-wise, and you always want to pick it first from the yellow boxes. For attack seal, we have critical chance. For defensive seal, seal of dodge, but you can use any defensive seal that you have. Counter attack in here is for dodge rate and pain effect. Pain effect increases our damage to the enemies. All of the toggles are linked with dampened resource cost. Fighter's Wrath is attack enhance, bullet protection is defense enhance, and they are linked with increased duration and time acceleration. Shadow Provocation is linked with Lingering Shout, Hushed Shout, Time Acceleration, Predator's Roar, and Buff Activation when hit. This link rune makes it so Shadow Provocation will proc automatically whenever we are hit. On movement abilities we have Roll and Leap Attack linked with Disarm. Zodiac's critical. I'm gonna start with non-specialization nodes and then I'm gonna talk about specialization nodes. One thing to remember is that you can spend your points on specializations much earlier than I'm showing. So first specialization opens up when you spend 22 points, second 45, and third 70. Let's start with Aphros, Forest, Jewel, Leaf, Root, Flash, Dewdrop, Rainbow, Breath, Artemis, Dust, Spider, Maggot, Leia. Display of Lightning enables us to apply a shock debuff to enemies, which increases our damage. Farmer, Typhoon. For specialization, there are two choices. Hama has much more damage, however, it doesn't have any utility. Dawn, in this case, has Convert Mana, which solves our mana issue, and has HP absorb on attack hit. It makes us regen so much more health, and you're gonna have less issues with it. That's how it looks like by default. If you don't need to convert mana, because you have enough mana regen, you can just pick up strike damage amplification. It's gonna be more damage. Early in game, you're only gonna be able to spend 7 points in here, but when you finish green questline in Saluto, you're gonna get 2 extra points, and you're gonna be able to spend 9. On 7th spec, we have Area Damage Amp, Tempest, and Sharpness. Same thing in here. When you finish green questline in Saluto, you're gonna have 2 extra points, but in this case, we don't need those points. 7 points in here is more than enough. Sympathy, we want amplifies damage upon attacking and damage amp upon using movement skill, as this is a lot of damage amplification, and either way, we are using movement skills all the time when we are mapping. For a maximized build, there are 2 changes on the skill board. First of all, we want to use Seal of Persistence instead of Seal of Critical, and it's really important to use Seal of Persistence. On Fissure itself, we can use Persistence instead of Find Weakness, but if you don't have Persistence, you can also use Quick Attack as it's gonna help you solve your attack speed issues. On Zodiacs, 2 changes. The first change is in Rainbow. We want to pick up Distorted Senses instead of Elaborate Attack. On second specialization, we want to remove Sharpness and pick up Strong Wind Effect, plus Damage upon attack. We can't use 5 points in here because it's not gonna let us apply. You The minimum amount is 7 points, and this is the only choice we can make. Charm Blessings, we want to start with the Hamal, then Boreal, Alyssa, and Castor. Charm Affixes for critical build, we want to have critical rate and critical damage always on our charms. The third affix is up to you. Maximize damage would be the best, however, getting something like HP multiplier, HP flat, some resistances, or even critical damage taken dampening is also a good choice. For a legendary prefix, we are looking for maximization chance, because whenever we are doing a critical build, they can also do maximize damage. That means getting maximization chance, which is both double maximization and triple maximization chance, is a really huge boost to our damage. If you can get maximization chance, the next best one would be strike damage amplification. This one is also gonna increase our damage by quite a bit. Getting something like critical damage is also a choice, but not really that huge of a damage increase. For a maximize build, we want to have damage multiplier and maximize damage multiplier as our two main affixes. The third one depends on you. If you want some defenses, you can go for HPs. If you want more offensive, you want to pick up damage when two-handed weapon equipped if you are using a two-handed weapon. If you are using one-handed weapon, that means you want damage when one-handed. For a legendary prefix, we only scale from strike damage amplification, and this is the only one we need. Relics, we want to start with Castor. Pick up enhanced range on passive. We can also pick up enhanced strength. This is also really nice. On active, we want to have sensory stimulation with cooldown recovery speed and increased buff effect. Second is Pika for powerful damage on the passive. Third is Sebda for enhanced chaos resist. Last is Boreal for HP, as this one can only be level 15. Masteries, weapon, armor. On the second, you can also pick up Solar Echo instead of Survival Instincts. Accessory, again on the second one, instead of picking up Strength and Center, you can pick up Quick Feet. Alchemy Masteries, in here, the main point is to pick up Enhanced Potion. After that, I chose Mana. On the fourth, you always want to have Absolute Perfection and Spring of Inspiration. On the fifth, Excavator Soul. And with the leftover points, you can pick up some Synthesis Acceleration. Itemization, I'm gonna keep it simple and short. Basically, for the weapons, there are two types. One that has high critical base that we want on our critical builds, and another that has low critical base that we want on our maximized build. For the affixes, on a maximized weapon, we don't care about critical. We only want to have weapon attack damage multiplier, maximized damage multiplier, physical flat, weapon speed, weapon flat, and physical damage multiplier. Of course, you're not gonna be able to get all of them, so at least aim to get a suffix for weapon damage multiplier, some physical damage flat, and then anything else you can get. For a critical weapon, we always want to have a get critical rate multiplier and weapon attack damage multiplier. These two suffixes is a must-have on a critical weapon. After that, get what you can. Physical damage flat is really nice, weapon attack damage flat is really nice. Just craft the best you can. For a defensive crafts, I'm only gonna show you chest, but I'm gonna explain the main idea in here. Basically, what we're looking for always is armor multiplier, or if you have a dodge rate chest, it's gonna be dodge rate multiplier. We always want to max our main defense. After that, HP is really important. Always go for as much HP as you can. These two prefixes are the most important ones. The third prefix can be whatever you can get. Physical damage taken decrease, even some extra HP would work well, or even armor flat. On the suffix, it's up to you. My suggestion is always aim to cap your resistances. Do not play the game without the resistances. Chaos Res, Lightning Res, Fire Res, or any other resistance that you lack, always roll it on the suffix. Do not trade your defensives for an offensive roll, especially early in the game. You're gonna be able to craft more offensive items late into the game, but early, at least fix your defenses. Uniques. For a critical build, you want to have Caster Refraction. It gives a flat critical rate and critical damage. This flat critical rate fixes all of our critical issues. On a maximized build, we want to have Band of Certainty, and together with Band of Certainty, we always want to use Seal of Persistence, otherwise their passive effect is not gonna work. And this ring is the main reason why we don't want to have any chance to deal double maximized or triple maximized, as this ring is more than enough. Fissure has a specific unique that's called Aftershock and its gloves. What it does, it reduces the earth energy spent on additional fissure hit and increases fissure range. These gloves are basically necessary to make the fissure good. At the same time, if you have a Transcendent Aftershocks, your damage is gonna skyrocket. Later skill bot for a critical fissure. On fissure itself, we want to have Source Awakening for +2 strike range count. For the links, we're looking at Extract Earth Energy, Iron Will, Mana Storm, melee damage amplification, Fighting Spirit, and Warrior Shadow. Iron Will has requirements to fulfill in order to get full damage amplification, and that's 24k HP and 500 strength. If you don't have those requirements, you can use some other link runes, for example, something like Concentrated Area Damage, that decreases our area of effect. However, we have so much area effect that it doesn't matter at this stage. Strike also could be an option if you are overcapping your attack speed. And Grip Strength, if you are wielding two-hander, it gives you damage amplification but decreases your hit rate by a little bit. And if you do a one-hander, it's also a good choice, as it gives you basically the same amount of damage amplification. Mana Storm has basically the same issue as Iron Will. It increases your resource cost, so it might break your mana. Melee damage amplification, one thing to remember in here is that you always want to awaken it to Origin, otherwise it's gonna break your build. Fighting Spirit Awakening is Source, Warrior Shadow Awakening is Source. Other changes on the skill board is that we no longer need any more critical. At this stage, you shouldn't need any more critical. That means we want more damage amplification, and the choice is Seal of Striking for strike damage amplification. Veil of Protection in here is as defense enhanced toggle. It gives us melee damage taken decrease or projectile damage taken decrease. Illusion Axe in here is for utility to apply lower armor. The one thing about lower armor is that it only applies one stack at a time. So if you're hitting 9 enemies, only one enemy is gonna have one stack of low armor. Fighter's Wrath Awaken it to Origin. It has also decreased duration, but be careful, decreased duration might decrease your damage, so you need to do some testing in Arena. Totem Activation upon using Enhanced skill, together with Weakened Totem. Weakened Totem Awaken it to Origin. It increases the debuff that we apply to the enemies, and the debuff is damage taken increase. Weakened Totem also has Enhanced Totem link rune for extra totem effect. Shadow Provocation and Fighter's Wrath are both linked with Enhanced effect, which is just skill rune effect. Shadow of Justice in here is to remove hard CC from us. If you have buff activation upon crowd control, it's gonna do that automatically. For movement abilities, I switch Leap Attack for Penetrating Slash, as this one has a fast animation. We can do some minimal changes to our Zodiacs. At this stage, you don't need any attack speed, at least you shouldn't. Same goes for Rainbow Bridge. Attack speed, movement speed, we shouldn't need that. Maggot, we can keep Power of Harmony in here, but if you don't have 200 stats for some reason, we can remove it. What we want to get is as much strike damage amplification or damage amplification as possible, so we go into the Breath. We pick up Sweep, and in Farmer, we can pick up Power of Nature. 5% additional physical damage is almost equal to damage amp, but this is the best choice. For a maximized skill board, there is only one change. I added Smash instead of Mana Storm, but you can switch any link rune you want. Smash is the best to have, as it increases our strike damage amplification and gives us maximized damage per stack. Of course, remember to use Seal of Persistence. On Zodiacs, there are not that many changes. Remember to have distorted senses, and everything else is okay. Energies, for a maximized build, it's really easy. There are only 2 changes to make. So first of all, I added Extract Energy, Awaken it to Source instead of melee damage amplification. It has to be Awaken it into Source for max energy count, and we want to negate -2, so we want to Awaken it to +2. We have another Extract Energy in here that is Awaken it to Origin to give us damage taken dampening per 1 energy possessed, and we always want to have this on a skill that we don't use too often, and Penetrating Slash is a good choice in here. You always want to have an extract energy source onto your main skill, as this one is gonna give us the most damage amplification. For a critical energies, we have some issues. First of all, because we start stacking cold energies and lightning energies, and those have a really bad debuffs. Cold energy has a critical chance reduction, while lightning energy has maximization chance reduction. We need to solve it. And the only way to solve it is on our zodiacs. We can't negate it fully, but we can make it a little bit better. I'm gonna assume that at this stage, you do have a source for additional lightning damage, which can be a Star Jewel or Authority Craft on your weapon. I'm gonna need those 7 points. At the same time, I'm gonna remove points from Typhoon, as we don't need this anymore. You should have enough ammo penetration at this stage. What we want to pick up is lightning damage, and for that, electric current wall, to reduce that negative effect. Same goes for cold. We want to do the same on the cold. Pick up Frost Shard to reduce that cold energy debuff. This way, you should be pretty well optimized, and it should help you to get your damage increase. Those 2 extra points, you can spend them anywhere. I'm gonna spend them somewhere that I know that could be good. I don't have any thoughts right now, but let's do Rainbow. And this is the end of the build guide. GG's, have fun, and see you in the next one.